Will you mind introducing yourself to our audience? Just a
Sure,
little briefly. Tell us some things about yourself.
sure. Jeff Durkee. I live in Austin, Texas. I've been in financial services for over 4 decades. I have two grown children that live in New York City.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, when you think about a successful life, what comes to your mind?
And I remember when I first met you, you asked a similar question, and success has always been something that's been very interesting to me. And you asked me when it happened, and when I was a young teenager, I was going to go play golf with a friend of mine. His father was going to pick us up. We were going to go play golf. And we got to the pro shop and we were checking in. They checked in first. And then when I checked in, the starter said, "Hey, Jeff, you can't play today." I said, "Why?" He said, "Your family hasn't paid its bill."
Mm.
So my friend's father said, "Jeff, I'll pay for it." And I said, "No." I grabbed my clubs and I walked home. And from that point forward, success became very important to me. So I started reading, started thinking about what success was. And at that time, it was about accomplishment. And I knew some men who were successful, and some of them gave me books to read, which I did. And it created the first definition was the full utilization of your abilities along the lines of excellence. And then someone said, "Jeff, what's going on with you?" I said, there's a little fear going on. And he said, "Fear is false evidence appearing real." And at that point, we had moved from this comfortable life to the wrong side of the track. And I said, "The evidence is real. It's not false." and and then I read a line that I used for many years until you helped me think about it differently. And the saying was, "If it's going to be, it's up to me."
Hmm.
So those were my original thoughts of success. They've since evolved.
So maybe success was first became an important issue because you didn't want to be unable to play golf, or you wanted to be able to pay your bills, didn't you?
That I did. I did. It was.
You didn't want to be humiliated.
I did not, and I also remember that walk, feeling shame in that walk, walking home.
Yeah. So so when you set out to be successful, did you achieve it pretty well before we met?
I did.
So you could always pay your bills?
I could.
And more than that, right?
Yes.
What was your lifestyle like before we met? Like how successful were you?
So I graduated from college. I entered financial service industry 9 days after graduating from college. I had been buoyed by a lot of the literature in the book and a desire to achieve. And I loved the industry, and working hard was something that came naturally to me. I'd worked two jobs throughout high school and college. So in my first year out of college, I remember I made more money in 1 week than the President of the United States.
Wow, that's wild, isn't it?
That was a big accomplishment for me. And then I remember I wanted to have a six-figure income. And in my first full year in the industry, I had a six-figure income. And this was decades ago. And then I had various markers of success, being invited back to New York to speak to people in my industry, which happened to me, and then being promoted to management, and I was promoted several times. So in my 30s, I felt that I was on my way to having enough money by the time I was 50 to never have to work again.
Okay, pretty wild. Not many people can do that. And you
And there was a price to pay for trying to do that. Unfortunately, I met you before that all set in.
so it's interesting because you gave a clue as to one of your attributes that caused you to be that successful, which is you were willing to work hard. You were willing to bust your butt, weren't you?
I was, and I am.
But that wasn't enough, right? You had other attributes that contributed to your success. What comes to mind when you think about the things you knew about yourself that caused you to be successful?
I think it's centered a lot around desire, a deep desire to excel, an ability to relate to people, an ability to absorb information and communicate it in a way, hopefully, that people understood. Um, and the advice I got was, if you want to be successful, go see 10 new people a week. And I said, if most people see 10, I'll see 15.
Mm.
If most people, work 1 or 2 nights a week, I'll work 4 nights a week. So a lot of it was just less talent, but more hard work, more dedication, a real burning desire to serve others. But mostly I thought at that time about money, my financial success, and then also the status that the roles may have.
Okay, okay. So you were willing to work hard. You also had tremendous people skills, the ability to relate to people in an effective way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had a wound from your childhood,
Yes.
and you also had a dream
I did.
of yeah, of making that much money and having that kind of respect. What do you think pushed you? Was it the push of the wound, or was it the pull of the dream that mattered more to you? Do you think that made the greatest contribution to your success? Hi, everybody. Hey, I've discovered that there are only two ways people try to create success for themselves in their lives. The first way is probably the most popular way, which is I'm going to find somebody who I see as successful and I'm going to try to be like them. I'm going to study their life. I'm going to eat what they eat. I'm going to read their books and I'm going to practice being like them. The only problem with trying to be somebody you're not is that it's impossible to do. And sooner or later, you just fall short or give up. You just can't do it. The second way to create success is to double down on discovering who you are. Everybody is amazingly unique and has been given a gift to live life that can be very powerful if you discover it and develop it. And that's what I do. I work with people not who want to be like somebody else, who want to figure out who they are and align their life with who they are. If that's you, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you and discover if you're the kind of person I can help. Thank you so much.
I think early on it was the wound,
Yep.
and then it started evolving, and you started pointing me in different directions. And I remember one discussion we had regarding Martha and Mary, a story from the Bible. And I could relate so well to Martha being busy and working hard and doing all those things and having, the wrong priorities. And then Mary sitting at the feet, having the right priorities. And that I never used a Bible story to change my thinking. And I said, maybe there's more answers there. Before I'd read books that were specifically about 7 habits or how to do certain things. And the real change came when you and I started talking about more spiritual things.
So I like to think that I have a gift of understanding people in a profound way and honoring them for who they are. So it wouldn't be my intention to try to change you in some way you're not, but to actually help you be more of who you truly are.
Yes,
Do you think that's happened in your life?
I do. I was a very I was happy. Spiritual things had an appeal to me as a very young child. Then my parents divorced. We went through some financial challenges at about 11, 12, 13 years old. And I was working hard. And you had mentioned something about the fruit of the Spirit that I was not familiar with: love and joy and peace. And did I have those things? And I didn't have those. So you and your coaching style asked good questions that helped me think about life, think about my career in different ways.
Perhaps I could see that in your core, you are a deeply spiritual person, but you weren't living a spiritual life. You were actually focused on very material, external things.
I was. I was. And I remember a talk that you gave, and we were talking about that. And you said the material world is about having stuff and housing and money and maintaining our lifestyles. And then you said spiritual development is more about the beauty of a sunset and love. And where does that come from? And can you see a flower and appreciate it? Can you just be present in this moment? Can you feel the love from others? And at the time, that wasn't part of my story, but it was very deeply appealing to me.
Hmm. So you began to see that part of yourself more clearly and to develop it.
I did, and it changed the books I wanted to read and the things that were of interest to me, and having a relationship not only with individuals, but with the Heavenly Father.
So, are you any less successful because of the work we did together?
I am more successful. And at one time, we had a discussion. My whole career, from basically 22 to 50, was trying to climb the corporate ladder, trying to make 100,000 and then make more money and have a substantial net worth and having more responsibility. And I went from a brand new employee to, when you and I were working together, I was president and CEO of a division of a financial institution, and I wasn't happy. And you and I had a series of discussions about when I was happy and what roles were best for me and where my true calling was. And since that time, and I remember hearing a song about that time. It was a Christmas song, and it says, "I'm going to make a lot of money, and then I'm going to quit this crazy dream." And I was going to quit. That was my whole goal: get enough money and to quit. And for the last decade and a half, I've loved work more than I ever have. And my contribution, I believe, to others has been more significant than it ever has been.
You got to be kidding me.
No,
You look happy.
I am happy. And there's a joy that I haven't had since I was 12 years old in my personal life, in my professional life. And tomorrow, two people that I mentor outside of work wanted to get together before year end, and I'm going to have lunch with one and see one after lunch, and just giving back to them. Some of the things that you shared with me, I now have an opportunity to share with others.
So, Jeff, to conclude, if you had one lesson you've learned in life that you think you would like to impart to the people who listen to this podcast, I'm putting you on the spot here, but can you think of what you'd share?
Trust God, follow Jesus, be not
Mhm.
afraid.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Bye.